comfortable in that muzzle. A muzzle will give you space like nobody's business. You put a muzzle on your dog, people will cross the street.
They do that with my dog regardless.
Well, there you go.
It's my breed. They just like, oh.
So if you're not using the muzzle with your dog, I mean, you're not in here and that's okay. But if you know that you have a dog that needs space from other dogs while you're trying to keep it under threshold, then start muzzle training it so it's comfortable.
So, Marilyn,
side note, yeah.
mine's not necessarily a dog issue. Mine's a sudden.
I don't do husbands or kids.
No, mine's a sudden change of environment issue. So
Yeah.
if she was in here with these guys and we were all here, she will settle fairly nicely and be fine.
Right.
It's when somebody walks in that door, or and we've noticed, Bonnie, I've noticed, it really is in particular to places she is comfortable with, because we train privately here. She'll come in this quietly for lessons, she'll practice the whole lesson, but one of these guys walk in, it's on.
So it's still that kind of conditioning we
Yep.
just talked about, right? So you have to be aware of what's happening.
Yep.
And then if you see that you need to back her away from the situation, if you can.
I was gonna say, I can't get far enough away.
Really high value up in her mouth.
Yep.
Really high value. But that leads us to the next thing, which is reactivation protocol, which I wanted to introduce you to really quickly, and maybe a couple of you guys can actually practice this. So this comes from Karen Overall's book, and she actually literally wrote the book. It's a textbook, okay, on clinical behavior in small animals, clinical behavior medicine in small animals. And I've used it for years with some of those off-the-chart cases, but now I use it with all my pet animals too, because I'm seeing such good improvement. And it's weird because trainers for monkeys, no offense, but I'm thinking to myself, we are not a break sometimes. And there's an entire protocol in here, and it's pages and pages long, and I remember standing there flipping through the pages, doing, okay, now I have to do this, and then somebody got smart and reported it. So it is available as a free download, and it's the last page of your thing, so you can go and just free download these things. But I want to show you how to use them, because it will help with a lot of the situations that you guys wrote on here. A lot of the situations that you guys wrote on your questionnaire, this will help with, and it will help with all the things that we've discussed in here. There's 15 days of the relaxation protocol. So you've tried.
We have done it with her.
Okay.
It's one of those, when she knows that's what we're doing, then she's fairly good at it. But trying to implement it, like when we're not in a, I find very hard for her.
Okay, so here's the thing. There's 15 days. They probably shouldn't be called days.
No.
So we're working on day one today. You work on day one, I'm gonna maybe call it session, because that's what it is.
Yep.
You start session one in a safe, comfortable environment, and you do session one for as long as it takes until your dog can handle that perfectly. And I think on the audio it says sit for 10 seconds, sit for 15 seconds. I don't care if they're sitting or they're laying down, but you want to know what they look like when they're relaxed. So we have to go back to that second page there where we were talking about what does my dog look like when they're relaxed. You want them to look relaxed for day one until they can get through it perfectly. Day one is about 8.5 minutes. I think it's 8 minutes and 49 seconds or something. They're not all that long. Some are shorter, some are longer. Some you need a really big park to work in because you have to go a long distance. But if you work on it and you work on it once a day, you're gonna do pretty well. If you work on it several times a day, you're gonna get even further with it. If you feed your dog twice a day and you do this before they eat, so you just use their kibble to do this, because this can be a low value reward, a low value benefit to them, or low value treats is what you can use to do this, then you're gonna get farther with it. Once your dog is good at this in a few different places in your living room, and you can use this with your go to mat or go to place commands, then you move it to a higher value or higher distraction situation. So maybe you're doing this in the middle of a party in your living room, right? Doing it on Halloween wouldn't have been good because that is too high of a distraction. But you can do it when you have a couple people over. You put your headphones in, people don't even have to know that you're doing it with your dog, okay? But you start to add distractions. When they do it perfectly 3 or 4 times, then you add some distractions, and then maybe you can move it outside. And then you start day 2 in the comfortable place in your house. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then Marilyn, are you saying day 1,
Mhm.
session 1?
Session 1, yeah.
You want it to be perfect.
Mhm.
That's in open places perfect before you go to
In
session 2?
low distractions, no, in low distraction areas,
Okay.
probably in your house. Then you start doing day 1 on the corner, in the driveway, at a park where there's not a lot going on, and then you start working day 2 in your house. And then you can start, then when you've got them doing day 1 nicely on the corner and at the park where there's not.
What is it you're doing?
Well, we're gonna do it in a minute,
Oh.
so.
It tells you
Yeah,
what to do.
if there's steps,
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll tell you on
We're
the,
gonna do it in a
No, I
minute.
understand that, but I'm just wondering what you're doing.
Yeah, you'll find out in a minute. It'll all fall into place. You can, then you might be doing day 1, session 1, on the corner, in the driveway, in a park without a lot of stuff going on. Now you're ready to move day 1, maybe to the back parking lot of Target or Menards, where there's more stuff going on, but you're not right in the middle of thing. And at the same time, day 2 has gotten really good at your house, so you can start working on that at the corner and at the park, and now you can be doing day 3 in your house. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So you're stepping
Layering
into
it.
it. Okay. I need a dog. Can I use Misty?
Sure.
Does she like people?
She likes people.
All right, then.
Just
that's
not
all I
other
care about.
dogs.
All right, I also need some treats for her. Does she work on a mat? Do you have a mat for her?
No.
Not necessary. I might put her up there on the top table, if that's okay. So I'm just gonna show you those with Misty, and then they'll have to, probably be done. I'm gonna give you a few, but think about if you wanna get your dog out and do it, we maybe can try a few more people in a few different spots. So let's put her right up there for a second. I would highly encourage you to download this, put it on your phone, and use it with headsets. Use it with a headset.
cause Maggie figured it out pretty quickly.
Yep.
Cause it rings a bell,
Yeah.
And she's
but
a hound?
She says time.
or she says time,
She says
and then
time.
she knew that
Okay.
word meant a treat when we first started. She got terrible, I was,
Funny.
yeah.
So what you're gonna do is
She's too
sit. Thank you.
Misty?
Thank you. Okay, thanks. She's like, oh, you smell delicious. I'm like, well, thank you very much. Here you go. These are low value treats, huh? Mmm. Stay. So, I'm just gonna start this so you can hear it, and we'll just do a couple of it.
New relaxation
It's
protocol,
working.
day 1.
Yeah,
Alright.
this was the
Yep.
one we did.
Sit for 2 seconds.
So you start about this far from the dog.
Time.
Good girl. And
Sit
you
for 5
quietly
seconds.
tell her good.
Time.
I
Sit
say
for
good
10
girl,
seconds.
and then I give the treat.
Time.
Good.
Sit while you take 1 step back and then return.
Does Maggie look relaxed? Misty, does Misty look relaxed?
Sit while you
Not
take
even
2
a
steps
little bit.
back and then return.
But she will get there.
Sit for 5 seconds.
I'm doing good, Dad.
What else, Maggie?
That's good.
Time.
So
Sit
I'm
for 10 seconds.
really close to her. That was a bad delivery, by the way, for those of you guys that are taking notes. Stay pretty quiet.
Time.
Yeah, this is the same.
Sit while you take 1 step to the right and then return.
So she did 10 stuff.
Sit while you take 1 step to the left and then return.
But this is why I figured
Sit for 5 seconds.
So you're working on a lot of stuff right here. Patience.
Time.
Good girl.
Sit for 10 seconds.
We're loading the word good girl, so it becomes a rewarding and relaxing, hopeful sound.
Time. Sit while you take 2 steps back and return.
Good girl. Frank?
Sit while you take 2 steps to the right
So-
and return.
It's really that easy, and it really is that boring. But it's not about your dog learning to sit in a certain place and stay there while you're doing it. It's about the behavior that your dog shows outside of doing this exercise. That's really important. I mean, a lot of your dogs, if you guys are running agility, your dogs can get through day one probably pretty easily. Will they look relaxed getting through day one? Well, that's important for you to determine because they do need to look relaxed before. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind Misty could sit there and do it perfectly for 8.5 minutes, exactly what I'm showing her to do, but she just didn't look that relaxed. She was excited, she was intense. Her focus on me would improve. If I took her out later, she'd be like, yeah, I love you. All you do is give me treats and I don't do anything, right? But what you're watching for is how the dog's behavior improves outside of the training. Does that make sense? Do you guys have any questions on this? I know I'm not spending a lot of time on this, but that's because you can download it and stuff.
I would recommend it because with my Maggie, it's made a big difference. At least at home when I've had people over, I can see her get amped before she's up to the top and get her to either on her bed or on her mat and
then
she'll
you
lay
can-
down.
Yep, and you can do, so I do have some clients that get over aroused when they see another dog, they're dog reactive, and those clients immediately can bring them right back down by just going into, they don't start playing it, they're like, okay, sit, treat. Okay, because that's about what they look like at first when their dog is stressed. But they just come right back into it. Relaxation protocol, let's do day one, okay. Sit for 2 seconds, got it, here's the treat. Sit for 5 seconds, got it, here's the treat. So even those dogs that are still a bit reactive, get themselves together much faster because we're giving them something else to do other than react. Does that make sense? So, but yeah, thanks for sharing that. And you might need to do it, so I know that Missy has an issue with crates, is that right? Going in
Yes.
crates here or whatever. Yeah, you might need to do the relaxation protocol at home and then here in a crate, stand in front of a crate and do this with her.
Okay.
So this is how you can fix some of those oddball little situations. I just remember that one because I'm like, well, I gotta remember to tell them to do that. I know that there were some other situations where I was looking at it and, you know, she's good at home, but then when you get her out, not as good. Well, that's fine. When you get her out, start doing this. Start working on this. So if any of y'all have a mat and a dog and you have some treats and you want to come out and give yourself a little space, we can do this for about 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes. Is that okay? All right.
I don't know if I have
Take
Maggie's
5.
mat with me.
Okay. So if you want to do it, grab your dog, grab the space on the place out here. You can see what's happening. All right. Just remember, some of the dogs are reactive, so be aware of what's around you. So you go. So go ahead and bring your